Hi, I'll get a quick guide for Fury Warrior for both Mythic Plus and Raid, but mainly Mythic Plus for Season 4. Been playing mine, enjoying it a ton, sitting around 2.3k IO so far, but plan to push more as the season progresses. This spec is insanely fun and can pump some damage. They're even completing some pretty high keys so far and relatively easy to pick up. Wanted to make a quick guide for you, for those of you that are new to Fury Warrior or just need an updated guide for this season. I'm going to cover stat priority, BIS trinkets, enchants, rotation, talents, and I'll have timestamps down below if you want to jump to a specific section. Let's get into it. For stat priority, you're going to want to go for highest eye level or strength. That's usually the best bet. Then it's going to be mastery. Mastery increases our damage while enraged. Super freaking good for us. Then we're going to go haste, versatility, crit. If you're mainly raiding, instead of pushing Mythic Plus, I'd probably prioritize haste to just a little bit over mastery, but overall they're pretty damn close. For enchants, for a weapon, we're going to be wanting wafting devotion. You can run this actually on both of your weapons. It does really well, but if you want to switch it up, you could do wafting devotion on one and then sophic devotion on the other. For your cloak, you're going to want graceful avoidance, chest, waking stats, bracers, devotion of avoidance, legs, lambit, armor, kit. And then rings, you're going to want Devotion of Mastery or Devotion of Haste, depending on what stats you need. This is the main build we're going to be using for Mythic Plus. It is fantastic for fortified weeks and pretty damn good in tyrannical weeks as well. You'll probably see this on high keys being pushed in Raider IO, Wowhead, Icy Veins, because it's just that good and it goes really well with our tier set. So I'm going to highlight some key talents here on the Warrior side of the tree and Fury side for those of you that are maybe new to Fury overall and just not sure exactly what really matters, what to pay attention to. For those of you that already know all this stuff, feel free to skip ahead. I'll leave timestamps down below. And I'll have the build to this build down below in the description that you're welcome to just import so it's easy for you guys. So over here on the Warrior side, let's mention some defensives really quick. Rallying Cry. Guys, don't be afraid to use this. It's only a 3-minute cooldown. When you start pushing some higher keys, make sure there's a lot of one-shot mechanics for tyrannical weeks and fortified weeks, or that stuff that just hits really hard. Make sure you're popping this beforehand. It gives your whole party a 10% increase of their health for 10 seconds. So use that when you can. Stormbolt's really good for single target CC if you can't interrupt a cast or something nobody else is. It's also, you can stun an incorporeal for about 4 seconds, and then you can also interrupt it to buy someone else some time to CC it or interrupt it as well. You could grab Intimidating Shout, but I think Stormbolt's better. Intimidating Shout will CC those incorporeals, but I think this is just a faster cooldown. You get every 30 seconds. I think you get more value off of this, especially if you already have CCs for incorporeal. And then you got Shockwave here. This is only has a 40-second cooldown. Generates some rage for you guys. But you can AoE CC a lot of targets here, so don't be afraid to use this in your group just to make it so much easier, and you'll know that you'll basically need to have it when you start pushing some higher keys. So use that when you can. So a couple damaging things. I noticed a couple people when I'm inspecting them in some keys, they're not even running this. Increase your damage while dual wielding by 5%. It's just a 5% damage increase, so make sure you have this talented. You will if you import the build here, but just want to highlight it. We're running Avatar, and we're going with Berserker's Torment, activating Avatar, Recklessness, cast the other, reduce effectiveness. This is really, really good because we're getting Recklessness back really, really fast with Anger Management. Every 20 rage you spend reduces the remaining cooldown of Recklessness and Ravager by 1 second, and we're popping Recklessness and Ravager as much as we can. So this is really freaking good. Over here at Thunderous Roar and Thunderous Words, fantastic, guys. Like, really freaking good. Great for AoE and pretty damn good in single target. If you're running Raid, I would probably switch out with Wild Strikes, Thunderous Roar, and Thunderous Words for Cruel Strikes, Champion Spear, and Champion's Might for single target fights. If you're not, you can just stick with Thunderous Roar, to be honest. You can get rid of a couple talents too if you're going to raid for this, like Shockwave and Endurance Training. You can pick up a CC. If you wanted to, you could, there's a lot of things you could switch out for, and maybe even grab Intervene if you want that. You could grab Second Wind for some more health regeneration, which is nice. Overall, this build isn't too bad for Raid, but mostly focused on Mythic Plus. Over here on the Fury side of things, I want to mention Cold Steel Hot Blood. This is a big part of our damage that most people don't pay attention to or even know about when you're first learning Fury Warrior, so I wanted to highlight it. Bloodthirst, critical strikes generate 4 additional rage. It matters a little bit, but this isn't the big thing. And inflict a gushing wound that leeches health over 6 seconds. So you're leeching health, but it inflicts a wound that does quite a bit of damage. And with Bloodborne here, blood damage of Odin's Fury, Thunderous Roar, and gushing wound is increased by 20%. So it's a 20% increase to our Thunderous Roar cooldown, and also to every time we inflict Cold Steel Hot Blood, gushing wound, with Bloodthirst. And I'll have a WeakAura toward the end of this video that I'll mention to you guys that will show you when you have a 100% chance to get your Bloodthirst to critical strike with our tier set. So it's really freaking helpful. We're taking anger management here, like I mentioned, and then unbridled ferocity, rampage, and onslaught have a 20% chance to grant recklessness for 4 seconds. So just recklessness again, you're up. Starting strikes here, raging blow causes every strike of your next rampage to deal additionally 20% damage, stacking up to 5 times. This is really good. We're using Raging Blow mostly as our filler here when we can, and it's just increasing the next rampage, which we're using all of the time. Again, it reduces our cooldown and our Ravager and Recklessness. So using this is really good. We're taking Onslaught and Tenderize. Onslaught enrages you, and if you have Sliding Strikes, grants you 3 stacks of Sliding Strikes, so it's good to use right before you're rampaging for just a damage increase. Main thing here for our AoE is Improve Whirlwind. Whirlwind causes your next 4 single target strikes to strike up to 4 additional targets for 55% of damage. Also generates some rage. And we've got Meat Cleaver. Whirlwind deals 25% more damage and affects your next 4 single target melee attacks instead of the next 2 attacks. So this is super essential if you're doing any AoE. If you're not doing AoE, switch these 2 talents. So for rage, for single target, go to Ashen Juggernaut and Massacre for a damage increase for sure. Definitely worth it. And then we're taking Ravager. And then we're taking Hurricane. While Bladestorming Ravager is active, you gain 5% movement speed and 5% strength every 0.8 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. So it's really important for when you're popping this Ravager to use it at a time when you can pump some damage, because you're getting stronger almost every second with the 5% strength increase. So that is a huge damage increase. So make sure you're timing that well. And with anger management, like I said, you're getting Ravager and Recklessness back all of the time. So be popping these on cooldown. If you guys have any questions though, or I didn't highlight something, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Your general rotation or single target rotation is going to start with Avatar, then Recklessness, then Charge. You actually get double the rage generated from Charge if you have Recklessness proc beforehand, so do that when you can. You're next going to pop Ravager, then it's going to be Rampage if you have enough rage, if not, Onslaught, then Thunderous Roar or Spirit Bastion. Make sure you do while enraged. It's a huge damage increase for Thunderous Roar if you are enraged first. Bloodthirst, when over 95% crit chance to apply Gushing Wounds. I'll have a WeakAura linked down in the description below that you guys can take to see how high your crit chance is. They're going to use Onslaught and Execute when available. Raging Blow is your filler, and then Bloodthirst when you have no Raging Blow charges, Onslaught or Rampage, and use Whirlwind as filler. For our Cleave and AoE rotation, it's basically the same thing as our single target and general rotation, but we'll be weaving in Whirlwind for Cleave. So we're going to be doing Avatar, Recklessness, Charge, then Whirlwind. We want to make sure we weave in Whirlwind every 4 attacks because of improved Whirlwind. It cleaves our single target attacks to other mobs. Then we're doing Ravager, Onslaught, Thunderous Roar or Spirit Bastion, Rampage, Raging Blow, Rampage, Whirlwind, and Execute whenever this is available. Your main filler is going to be Raging Blow and Bloodthirst when crit chance is 95% or above. Make sure to have Whirlwind up to spread Gushing Wounds whenever Bloodthirst whenever that's possible. Final notes though, pop CDs when you can. Try to align your 4 big cooldowns together whenever possible, but pop Ravager and Recklessness whenever you can because of anger management. You're getting it back incredibly fast. When you have 2 or more targets, weave Whirlwind into the rotation to cleave your single target attacks. Best Trinkets for Fury Warrior is Augury of the Primal Flame, Cataclysmic Signet Brand, and Algathar Puzzle Box. These are so freaking good and a huge damage increase if you're able to pick these up. Other decent options though are Idol of Trampling Hooves and Ominous Chromatic Essence. Add-ons and resources I'd recommend getting if you don't already have them, or if you're brand new to WoW or Fury Warrior just in general. These really will help out a lot. So you're going to want to make sure you grab WeakAuras on CurseForge. Once you do that, you're going to go to wago.io, and I'll have links to all these down in the description below that you're welcome to just grab that way. There's a WeakAura I recommend that shows you the chance of Bloodthirst critting. This is super freaking helpful. It's going to be a big damage increase, so you're not just weaving in Bloodthirst when you have a low chance at it. It's really good. I'd recommend getting it. And then Luckthos' Warrior WeakAura is really good. It's clean as hell. It shows you all the information in the middle of your screen. You can see it here. Helps with tracking rage, how many charges of Whirlwind you have. So weaving in those every 4 attacks. It's super helpful for cleave and AoE damage. Then I recommend getting details on CurseForge as well for tracking damage, interrupts, how you die, just a bunch of other really helpful shit. And then deadly boss mods or DBM to yell at you to get out of shit, or when you need to do certain mechanics is really helpful and great for learning new mechanics. Hope you enjoy Fury Warrior this season as much as I do. It has been a blast so far. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or feel free to stop by over on Twitch and ask me there. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next video.